Well, good evening, everyone. Today is January 16th, Tuesday, 2024. This is Tustin Longevity Center. I am Dr. Ellithorpe, the founder, and we are on Ask the Doctor Anything. We do functional, integrative, complementary care medicine. We are medical doctors, we are naturopathic doctors, physician assistants, and nurse practitioners who are all involved, along with our whole staff, in providing support to do preventative medicine or restorative medicine. And we bring together with us our collectively roughly, I don't know, maybe there's 80, 90 years of experience. I've been practicing this way. I grew up this way. I'm 70 now. So my father was involved in this, but practically speaking, I've been practicing 42 years. So what we do is we have on our tlcdoctors.com, if you join us, our email list, tlcdoctors.com, there is a link to these videos, a reminder, and on that reminder is a link on the email notification where you can type in a question, and then we get these email lists, and then we try and answer them on Tuesday nights. Also, we have the YouTube chat where those who are live can type in a question, and I try to get the live people at first, and then we'll go to the email questions. And today, we will start with our email questions since I don't see any live chat yet. And we'll start with Kristen. Kristen asked the question, what is your opinion on strontium for bone health? Strontium for bone health. Strontium is a mineral. It's in the elemental chart just under calcium. So strontium is another more rare mineral that is able to be treated like calcium and can be incorporated into our bones. Have I seen it personally as something that is very valuable for bone health and bone building to avoid osteoporosis? No, I haven't. Is it in our TLC bone health? Yes, it's in our bone health along with boron and some other trace minerals. But I don't believe that strontium is a critical factor. I think far more important for bone health, especially for women, is lifestyle. And that somewhere around age 40 to get your first bone density done. So we have a reference. Drink your water. Because the more acidic you are, for instance, if you drink sodas and all that phosphoric acid, that promotes demineralization of your bones. So you want to have a healthy diet. You have to understand your bones are made of as much protein as they are minerals. So, for instance, the bone structure or the beams, you might say, in the bone that minerals lay down on and solidify are your collagen strands. And these collagen strands come from you eating protein. So getting enough collagen in your diet, and probably the best source is meat, and that meat that has a lot of marbling in it, and cooking the meat slow, like on a slow cooker, will help you absorb it. The older you get, you need a digestive enzyme to help you absorb both the amino acids that are important in collagen formation for the bone and the protein amino acids. So digestive enzymes should be taken, especially if you're a blood type A. Secondly is exercise. And we're not talking about just taking walks or getting on a Peloton spin bike. We are talking about doing work that you are feeling the shudder of each step or run vibrate through your body. So Nike shoes, I think in the 1960s, came out with their super cushioning, When I was in school, PE, high school in the 1960s, there was no thick gym shoe. It was just a little white linen shoe with a tiny foam rubber base. And we would get a jar banging every time we jumped up and down, landed on our heels, not our toes. And when you land on your heels, you feel the shudder going up your whole body, your spine, and so forth. So we're talking about uh, exercise that is creating what we call a piezometric uh, shuddering to your bones. It stimulates them. It's an electrochemical signal that you're alive and that the living material in the bone, because it's alive, it's not inert, the bone building osteoblasts and the bone reabsorbing reformation cells, the osteoclasts, are being signaled. And so you want to have your minerals available. You want to have your protein, amino acid, collagen. You want to have enough water available. You do not want to be acidic. So you want to drink half your weight in ounces of water. And you want to shudder those bones. You know, like if you jar your two hands together, you can feel the vibration in your arms. Another thing is if you have a rubber hammer, a mallet, and you hit that and you shudder your arm. I do tell my patients, get a rubber mallet and hit a cement wall or brick or the cement floor or the ground, 10 times with your right and 10 times with your left arm, and do that every day. And then I would stomp with each heel into the ground like you're putting on a temper tantrum, like you were 3 years old again, stomping hard, and do that for 15 seconds and do that every single day. Now, of course, take your walk, of course, do your sit ups and stretching, but you need to have that sudden deceleration in your bones. Now, the more petite you are as a woman, the less poundage you carry around, the higher your risk is going to be for osteoporosis. So it's not in the mystery of strontium versus boron supplements versus calcium supplements, it's your lifestyle. Now, one of the problems is with industrialized big farming, mega farming, the soil is getting depleted and raped, you might say. Individual small farms that make up hundreds and thousands of families and support them and their communities are being bought out or forced out with economic stress of the times. And big corporations are buying up these lands and they do this industrialized farming and they don't put back into the ground what a local farmer with his 100 acres or 50 acres would do. So we are seeing mineral depletion in the items that are grown in the fields today across America. So that a apple today may have 50% of the mineral nutrients it had 50 years ago. So we do recommend a multi-mineral supplement. It will have a balanced amino acid chelate or citrate of these calcium, strontium, boron, and other trace minerals. And I think it's wise to take, given that our food supply is becoming so adulterated with corporatism. The other thing is weight training. I would do weight training to keep your bone mass up and your muscle tone up and strength, and along with your aerobic walking, along with maybe doing a jump rope or getting that mallet and hitting with your arms so you get that shudder up your arms. Now, you have to remember the women of old, they used to walk on their barefoot without any cushioning, and they would have more total time of this piezometric jamming of the heel into the ground or the hardwood old grandma shoe heel. And they would chop the heads off the chickens and they would chop wood. And so they had many more episodes of this sudden deceleration of their bodies and stimulation for their bones and then the mineral density was richer in their food. So what do I think of strontium? Not much. I don't think it deserves a YouTube on its own. There have been products made, foreign, I think, products, strontium relenate, something like that, Renalate, renalate. And it turned out that product sold as a drug was associated with blood clotting and heart ischemic events. Therefore, it was pulled off the drug market in Europe. Then the supplement was made, it was made different. It was made strontium citrate, I think. And that was not associated with those bad side effects. But again, I don't support or recommend a calcium prescription dose or a strontium or a boron even. I just think it's good as we get older because of our corrupted bureaucratic farming methodologies now that we use a good amino acid uh, chelate of a multi-mineral, and we do a low carb diet, a richer diet in protein for the collagen for our bones with the digestive enzyme as we age, and that we do stomping or what we call these piezometric sudden deceleration, and drink plenty of water so we're not acidic, and stay away from phosphoric acid based sodas and things like that. So that's, Kristen, what I'm thinking there. John says, I was prescribed Prozac for depression in 1993. Since then, I have been given different antidepressants over the years. Currently, I take venlafaxine. I think that's Effexor. I tried twice by myself and once with the doctor's help to get off this drug. Every time I tried, I had 24-hour anxiety and thoughts of suicide. How can I get off this drug? Well, again, I am a general practitioner, not a therapist or psychiatrist or psychologist. But in my experience over 42 years, in the midst of all this move to use serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors, of which Prozac and Effexor are, there becomes a receptor problem signaling, you might say, because of these drugs in between the two neurons, the reuptake of norepinephrine or serotonin to be taken up in the next nerve. When it's secreted by one end and taken up by the other, if there's blockage on the uptake, it increases the amount in between the receptors to hopefully stimulate these associated mood modulating effects of these neurotransmitters. But long-term use can change it. It does not mean you can't heal from it. It just means you have to understand, you have to go through some time of controlled management of your symptoms until your body starts to rebuild new cell membrane surface receptors. Exercise is associated with rebuilding it. Fasting is associated with rebuilding it, and even neurons in the brain. Practicing some challenging new skills like learning to play the piano, which I'm trying to do myself. I'm not doing too good of a job, but I am trying. Always stimulating your brain. Having yourself surrounded as best as you can with supportive, encouraging people who know what you're trying to do, counselors, a doctor familiar in the prescription and the neurochemical aspect of these drugs and how they are affecting you. But then, nutritively speaking, besides these exercise, which is a good antidepressant, fasting, which is a good nerve membrane, brain-derived natriuretic factor to stimulate brain growth, and these receptors, is a rich protein diet. The more carnivore you go, the better. If you're a blood type A, you're going to have to use digestive enzyme, orthodigestive enzyme, to help you digest that. Depending on how old you are, John, if you are a blood type A, certainly use it. But if you are roughly more than 50, 55, you probably need help with digesting the increased amino acids that are used in making up healthy neurotransmitters. And then essential fatty acids, but use the right ones, the one that is actually incorporated into every one of your cell membranes in your body, of which, I've heard estimates now up to 50 trillion cells. And that's alpha linolenic and linolenic acid. And that is in our clinician's preference oil, which is the omega-3 alpha linolenic and the omega-6 linolenic acid. Critical in the cell membrane structure, so it responds appropriately to signals, images, and thoughts, and your exercise and so forth. So a high dose of healthy fat in your diet is critical, even the butter and the cholesterol, for making the new healthy brain membranes, cell membranes, and the receptors. And then taking enough vitamin D. Vitamin D is also very neuroprotective. It is a natural mood elevator. The methylated B complex, taking a higher dose, monitoring your D level, monitoring your methyl B12 levels, getting in magnesium at nighttime, and possibly some melatonin, so you get a better night's sleep after a good exercise routine. Again, I've been up since 5:30 and pretty much going full time all day, working all day. And now, after we're done here at 7, I will go out to my gym and do my heavy lifting weight training. And at least twice a week, I'm doing that. Do I want to? No, I can think of 100 things I'd rather do. But I know I need to do this for 1,000 reasons for my health. So if you exercise, if you drink your water, if you avoid alcohol, because that works as a depressant, it'll mess up your sleep. If you take the the only 2 human essential oils, the omega-3 alpha linolenic and the omega-6 linolenic acid, you take the D, the essential fats, the exercise, the melatonin at night, the magnesium glycinate or magnesium citrate. If you have good counseling, a good psychiatrist who is well versed in what drugs and what dosing you're on, and healthy water consumption, plenty of protein with healthy fats in your diet, and butter, vegetables, phospholipids that are rich in meat and stuff, then this is the direction I would head you to be in. There is lithium orotate. There are studies on that have shown that lithium orotate, even 5 milligrams or 2.5 milligrams a day, is associated with non-suicidal ideation. And I have this in our multivitamin mineral at the energy core here as well. I have the amino acid chelated magnesium and minerals in my multi-mineral. And we have, of course, the appropriate oil replacement called clinician's preference with the essential fats. We have the melatonin with natural herbs that are calming in Good Night. That is our sleep melatonin with herbs. We have Copacalm, which is another herbal and mineral calming agent. But nothing beats exercise, learning something, being with people who are supportive, and a doctor who's familiar with supporting your management of your minerals. I mean, your serotonin reuptake inhibitors. And that is how I would begin, John. Let's go to Christina. Christina says, what would you suggest for itchy skin, armpits and or anal? We have carefully watched our food choices, fragrance-free laundry detergent, as well as used anti-itch creams. Well, Christina, the older you get, the drier your skin gets. The The older you get, you tend to drink less water. And that every time I say the water, I like to take a sip with my nice straw, so I drink more with each gulp. And the drier your skin and body, the more it cracks. The more the skin cracks on a microscopic level on your skin, the easier it is for the bacteria and materials that are on our skin or that we're touching to impregnate themselves between these cracks. And the more you wash with soap and water and warm or hot water, the easier it is for your skin to flake and dry and crack, which allows for these topical, film of bacteria, the biofilm on your skin and whatever you're touching to crack and dig its way into the little crevices and irritate you. Therefore, I am for only taking a 3-minute military shower with lukewarm water at best. I don't put soap on my skin. I just use soap to my pits and hair. I'm in and I'm out. And I dry off. There isn't any germ on the extensor surfaces. The only germs are in your pits and your groin and your feet. So just getting a little lukewarm, tepid water on you and drying off is all you need. And then you need to drink enough water, and you need to try and be in a cool, dry environment with sleep. And then you have to take that oil I was telling John about for the antidepressive effects of it. And that is what gets into the skin cells that helps create that barrier so that this irritation doesn't come through. It sounds like, Christina, you're aware of food allergies because you're trying to eat a diet that has low immunogenicity, meaning you're trying to stay away from a wild variety of spices and food variations in any one day. The more variety, the more spices, the greater the chance of your immune system becoming inflamed and alarming. The other thing is to use Argentine silver instead of prescription antiperspirants and things like that. Argentine silver, you can just spray it under your arm. You can spray it on acne on your face. I put it in my eyes. I put a drop in each eye every night before I go to bed to act as a natural antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. And that's how I would begin, Christina, for itchy skin. Eat a simple menu, a one-day menu. So, maybe tonight you're going to cook up roasted chicken, or you're going to buy a roasted free-range chicken at Sprouts or Trader Joe's. And then just have one vegetable with it with healthy butter on it, salt and pepper. And then eat enough of that and be satisfied. Don't eat late at night. And then have enough of it so that you can have that for lunch tomorrow, skipping your breakfast, so that the immune system, your body only saw, which is what was in the chicken with the skin on it, and the green beans, butter, salt, and pepper. And that's very low inflaming, low immunogenic, stimulating. And a one menu day represents a protein and a vegetable. Make enough of it for dinner so you can carry it over for lunch, then change up at the next dinner. Maybe a meat and broccoli, make enough so you have it left over. I was sad today because I had beef last night with broccoli, and I had it in little beef strips, and I put a little soy on it and sesame seeds to make it kind of like a Mongolian beef with broccoli. And I made enough of it, and I also had a container on my kitchen countertop, and I keep my bacon in there. And the bacon is in little pieces, like a little crunchy piece instead of chips. And today I grabbed my whole bacon thing instead of my meat, so I didn't get to have that for my lunch today. But anyway, so the concept is a one menu day. Whatever you have for dinner is your lunch. These are things that help stop bodily itching. I hope that helps you, Christina. Then Jenna says, Blessings from North Carolina. Thank you. My husband is healthy, active, 68-year-old, and is on no prescription medicines except Prilosec. That's an H2 blocker. By the way, antacids like that are very bad for your bone health. So if you're on something like a antacid like that, Nexium, Prilosec, omeprazole, you want to get a bone density. Per your advice, he is taking a scoop of GlucoShield and phospholipids for the last month. Tried to go cold turkey off of Prilosec, but having issues. How long before he notices relief from the two products you recommended? Thanks. It, I would have to know if he had esophagoscopy where they look for ulcers or Barrett's esophagus or reflux. I would want to know if he's eating late at night. I would want to know if you're elevating the head of your bed. I would want to know if he's drinking coffee at night. I can drink coffee at night. I can have a whole, 12 ounces of my coffee and go to bed like a baby. Some people can do that, but it can create potentially acidity in the stomach and reflux. So taking that or alcohol would aggravate the stomach. Uh, if he has food allergies that he's eating, he would be re-injuring himself and prolonging the amount of time it would be needed on those phospholipids and GlucoShield to heal. Remember, the phospholipids are the materials that fix this membrane throughout every cell in your body, from your eyeball and brain to your stomach lining to your, you know, uh, um, skin, everywhere in your human body, muscle. It has to have a double layer of these phospholipids hanging this way and phospholipids this way to create a bilipid sandwich layer. And so if you injure it at the same rate as you're trying to heal it, then it'll take you longer. So look at some of your daily habits, Jenna, that your husband might be doing and see if that's happening. If he can use the Prilosec, at least, cut it back to once a day or every other day or only 3 times a week, twice a week, and stay at that rate, that's far better than using it 2 times a day, every day for years. And it was never designed to be used continuously. So look at all those things. I normally find people, if they're doing those things, that they can pretty much get off of the Prilosec or their H2 blocking prescription medicines or over-the-counter Nexium, and they can be done with it within a month. So that's my experience, Jenna. Let's see. Constance says, how often do you recommend eating game meat a week? As often as you like, Constance. Lamb, bison. I eat organic beef only 2, 3 times a month. And she says she limits pork. I like free range material, wild caught fish. And if I buy pork, it's from usually a farm that I get from Butcher Box, and I call up and I put in an order. And they are prairie pasture raised pork, and there's no limit, in my opinion. I have never seen anyone overeat healthy free range beef, wild caught fish, and other wild animals and game. I've never seen anyone ever in 42 years eat too much. I rather see people eat too little and use too much processed junk food. So there you go, Constance. Now, Mary says, to what would you attribute occasional blurred vision? Occasional blurred vision. Typically, my vision is very good. However, there are short times when it blurs and I have to put on reading glasses. It doesn't seem like just a vision problem since it's only occasional. Well, things that generate some blurring of the vision is age. So as we age, the muscles that hold our lens is like a glass ball, but it's squishy. It can expand, into a ball, more of a ball, or it can be pulled into more of a plate. ball, plate, ball, plate. And so these muscles on either side holding on to the lens are muscles, ciliary muscles in your eyes. And they can get weak and you can lose muscle mass there. So when you were younger, you could easily pull it out for changing your focus for distance versus expanding it for near vision. Um, but as you age, those muscles weaken. So in the morning, you would have better function of those muscles if you're not very old. Let's say you're 40, 45, 50, 55. And as the day progresses on, you fatigue out earlier than you did when you were, 20, 25, 15 years old. So that's one reason. Number two, the more dehydrated we get as we age, the harder it is for that lens to cooperate with the pull and the tug on the muscles that make the lens change. So becoming dehydrated with aging, alcohol use, lack of drinking enough water every day, having poorer and poorer circulation will choke off, like pinching the tube on the hose, and only a trickle of blood to keep the tissues and everything well hydrated, to bring repair and nutrients to fill in these broken holes of your cell membranes. That's why we eat egg yolks and eggs. That's why we eat meat and fish and chicken with the skin on it, and pork and so forth. So you have to have good circulation. So that would be another reason, Jenna. It could be a vascular microcirculation of aging. It could be tiny microclotting. I don't know if you receive the spike protein injection that might create some blurring. So our eyes dry out with aging as our hormones diminish. That drying to our eyes will create some blurring intermittently. Often there are just normal saline eye drops that help with vision and focus. I use Argentine silver to moisten my eyes when I feel it's getting late in the day and I'm straining at my eyes, but I still want to watch something or read something. I'll put a drop of Argentine silver in my eyes. So these are the most common issues. Of course, diabetes, blood sugar can create dehydration and blurred vision. So you might be having variation, fluctuations in your sugar levels. Better in the morning, worse in the evening as your blood sugar builds up from your eating during the day. So there's many different things constant uh, to check. No, Mary asked that question to check on that. And let's see, Dolores says on the live chat, she says, hi, Dr. Rita. I tend to eat organic string cheese as a snack. I found goat cheese at Trader Joe's. What are your thoughts of goat cheese? It is really good. Yes, it is good, isn't it? If it's a raw product, you might check and make sure it isn't a processed, homogenized, pasteurized dairy. If it is, it's inflammatory, Dolores. But if it's truly raw and was not cooked and it wasn't shooken up with homogenization and the heating of pasteurization, I would say you could have that a couple of times a week. But if it's processed, pasteurized, or homogenized, I wouldn't recommend it, because that's turn the whole milk protein and milk fats into foreign molecules that are immunogenic and inflaming. But that's what I would have to say on that. And let's see, Dr. Lee, I don't see a question there on on the question there. Anyway, let's go back to the emails. Patsy says, do statins help lower triglycerides? So do cholesterol lowering drugs, coenzyme reductase, that blocks the production of cholesterol, does that help lower triglycerides? And the answer is a big fat no. Triglycerides are from eating all kinds of plant food starches, plant carbohydrates, plant fruit sugars, starch. All these sugars are then reorganized into little short chain fatty acids called triglycerides to put into storage if you ate more than you're burning up with your daily use of your body. As your muscles wither away with aging, but you keep eating at the same rate and you're doing less exercise, then the carbohydrates build up, your triglycerides build up, your insulin builds up, and you start becoming metabolically sick, endocrinologically more at risk for diabetes and Alzheimer's and cancer and all these horrible hypertensive cardiovascular diseases. Triglycerides are strictly the simplest fat that comes from our eating too many starches and carbohydrates, Patsy. Lynn says or asks, what should my total testosterone be? I'm 64-year-old female on bioidentical estradiol and progesterone. Good. Blood work shows my free testosterone is 1.4%. And your total is 16. Well, you have low testosterone, and women need testosterone when you're younger. You have much more of it because you have much more DHEA and you have much more muscle and much more energy and much more of everything with that action and motion. So the levels in a younger woman, let's say she's 20, I would say a testosterone in a healthy young woman, because young women today are not healthy. Don't fool yourself. The diet is so bad, the electromagnetic radiation, the stuff that there's stratospheric engineering pouring out into the atmosphere, these nanoparticulate heavy metal toxins and materials, these and the microplastics and the processed hydrogenated fats and the sticky high fructose corn syrup and the lack of drinking coffee. I mean, lack of, uh, I was trying to say enough water and instead drinking all these sugar drinks. This is making your typical 20-year-old, 15-year-old now even, 12-year-old pre-diabetic. And so I don't compare myself with young people at all today anymore. Thank God I'm old and I know what a healthy young woman was like and man back in the 1970s in my early medical training. And that is a testosterone for a woman in her 20s certainly should be closer to 80, 90 nanograms per deciliter. And most women today are way too low. You're 16, you're way too low. I just did my testosterone, in the past year, and I was 170. But the other thing is my dihydro epiandrosterone, DHEA dihydroepiandrosterone, is a one of the first hydrolysis biochemical products. When you take butter in, let's say, or a piece of cholesterol in your diet from eating meat, the first hydrolysis cleavage will create pregnenolone, and the other side is DHEA. And they have many biochemical cascades they go through in the body to help our body do many wonderful things. And DHEA can help make cholesterol to reduce stress in a woman and a man. DHEA can therefore help the white blood cell count in all people. DHEA can turn into testosterone for men and for women. So when we're young people and our DHEA levels are 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, with our healthy eating of meat and fish and egg yolks and so forth, then our testosterone levels are far more robust and our muscle and our endurance is much better. Today, we're eating such sloppy processed foods, we don't even know where health is anymore. And I'm scrambling to teach the young doctors here, the importance of what a healthy human being looked like from childhood on, because we're feeding our children to become sick. So regarding testosterone, I'd like to see testosterone at least 50, 75 range in all women. And so I would get your DHEA level tested quickly, and I would get on DHEA sulfate, 25 to 50 milligrams. I take 50 milligrams every day. and it helps me with my muscle mass and my endurance and strength and bone density and my adrenals, my immune system, my ability to handle stress, my white blood cell count. So please do that and get a much higher testosterone level than Tiziana says, "Hi, Dr. Rita. My 83-year-old mother lives in Italy and she weighs only 80 pounds. Oh, wow. And she hikes every week. So that's probably helping her bone density. So she's in pretty good shape. She has been on high blood pressure medicines for 18 years. So since she was roughly 68 years old. Okay. And on occasion, she has spikes of blood pressure like 205 over 95. 205 is very, very high. That would almost qualify for an emergency room visit to address. What would you attribute such spikes to? In my eyes, she doesn't drink enough water and she eats too many carbs. Any thoughts? Well, the older we get, the less water we drink. And that is the number one medicine for all diseases, for all people at all times. Drinking enough water. Then getting minerals in that water, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, trace minerals. And if you get salt, Himalayan salt, I prefer that you try and get salt that is mined underground so that the stratospheric geoengineering, lead dust, and microplastics don't get into these salt beds that are outside. You want to get your salt mined out of the ground deep. But get a bit of trace minerals, magnesium in her, get the water in her. So she needs 48 ounces of water every day. She needs, to be seen by her local doctor and get address that, have a stress test and cardiac evaluation, echocardiogram, look for calcium. Calcium can make the intima, the lining, the material of the wall of the arteries stiffer so that a small stress, let's say you become angry suddenly or you suddenly have pain, if the blood vessels aren't elastic, then and they're in a stiffer pipe, so to say, then your capacity for this high number, systolic number to go up will go up very high. So if she was on vitamin K2, MK7, I would put her on K-Force, one a day, the 5,000 vitamin D with 180 micrograms of vitamin K2, along with magnesium glycinate, maybe 500 milligrams a day. And I would put a multi-mineral and trace mineral into her dietary pattern. But first, make sure she drinks 48 ounces of water every day and see her doctor there and go from there. Hopefully that will help, Tiziana. Let's see, we have some more live questions here. Dr. Lee's book titled Hormone Balance for Men insists PSA measures are not accurate in assessing prostate cancer risk. How can I reduce PSA 25 without hormone treatments like Lupron or Casodex? Well, there's a lot that goes into it. Number one, I think you should have a urologist who is following you. And you can ask your urologist and say, look, I would like to try as natural as possible to bring this down. Will you watch me? I would encourage you to get an ultrasound of your prostate or a pelvic MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, so that we can see if the capsule of your prostate is intact, if there's any lesions in the gland itself. Have you had a biopsy? I'm not saying you have to do it, but if there hasn't been any interruption against the capsule, that's a favorable finding. I would certainly start out with adequate water. I would do EDTA chelation, calcium disodium EDTA chelation with vitamin C. I would do that once a week because the microcalcifications and the blood flow oxygenation because cancer doesn't like to grow in oxygen. It's anaerobic. That helps it with high systemic enzymes, something like Vitalzyme or Vascuzyme, systemic enzymes, 5 times a day to disinflame it. I would consider going on a trial of something like ivermectin, maybe 15 milligrams to 20 milligrams. Uh, 3 times a week in case there's any chronic bacterial. There are those who, and I have used in the past, chronic once a week or biweekly tetracycline, 500 milligrams for what has been thought to be these cell wall-less uh, bacterial formations like mycoplasma type family that creates inflammation in the prostate. I would eat 2 tablespoons of raw, non-roasted raw pumpkin seed. There seems to be a lot of good alpha reductase enzyme activity with that. I would take iodine, 12.5 milligrams, iodoral, 1 tablet a day. And I would be very low carb. I would fast at least 24 hours once a week. And I would only eat in a time restricted zone, roughly, let's say from noon to 6 p.m. And I would have my insulin checked, my triglycerides, my fasting sugar, and my hemoglobin A1C, along with the PSA, maybe once every 6 to 8 weeks to track how this is doing. I would check my estradiol level along with my testosterone level and quit all alcohol because that will stimulate estrogen to rise in you and swell your prostate, which will raise your PSA. Those are some beginner things that I would recommend, but not without the addressing a urologist, because I'm not a urologist, but these are the natural approaches that we've had a lot of success with here at our place. Um, he goes on to ask the question, I drink a lot of water per your suggestion, but as much as I add salt to my food and sodium supplements, but my sodium levels remain low. Any advice? Well, that means that there's too many holes in your cell membranes leaking out these ions of sodium, potassium, and chloride. You need to eat a lot more phospholipids and essential fats and cholesterol to help accelerate healing. That's why you need microcirculation chelation therapy. But that's very important as well. Um, so any advice? I would eat a more carnivore type diet, probably digestive enzyme. Find out your blood type. We have a wonderful new doctor joining us who we're training. Dr. Amber is just fantastic. She's internal medicine and eager to learn. She's worked in the hospital and seen the end stages of the American dietary system, and she is sick and tired of just patching people up to send them out and then they come back in shortly. So she is really motivated and she'll be taking new patients. Of course, we continue to have our monthly rounds. We're doing a lot of work on getting up this program for gut health to be produced, our movie on that for training to physicians. And it's just a circus here with all the work that we're doing, but it needs to be done. And Lord willing, we'll be able to help his dear creation. But try and find a good functional doctor. Next person is Sarah. Hi, Sarah. God bless you. Hello. Any thoughts on Parkinson's managing system support for someone rapidly declining? Any thoughts and ideas? Well, I have tons of thoughts on that, Sarah. You have to get edetaculation and circulation to your brain matter. You have to go carnivore because your brain is close to 70-75% phospholipid fats with the cholesterol. You have to look at their hormone levels. You have to put them through intermittent fast, which stimulates brain-derived natriuretic factor to help them to grow new brain membranes and brain health. Getting on a good antioxidant. I think the Juice Plus is the most researched nutraceutical as far as antioxidant to protect the membrane from getting a free radical oxidative hit, stop any smoking, any alcohol, get into exercise. If they can't exercise yet, get them into physical therapy, get a stationary bike so that they can do it and be kind of strapped in so they won't fall out. They have to be well hydrated. So all these many things need to be done as a bare minimum. And then we see a great slowdown and some reversal in Parkinson's. We also use IV glutathione. IV glutathione has the ability with the substantia nigra in the core stem of your brain, is associated with this motor function and fine motor function, so that the stiffness of Parkinsonian and little walking steps like that can be released from oxidative stress with glutathione IVs. If you go on YouTube, look up Dr. David Perlmutter, Pearlmutter, David Perlmutter, a neurologist, medical doctor, and write in Parkinson's and then write glutathione, Glutathione. And you're going to see a picture of this older man standing in a hallway or sitting at a chair. And he has a light shirt on, and it's like a 4-minute video. And you'll see him walking down the hallway, little tiny steps. And then Dr. Perlmutter asks him, please repeat after me. It is a sunshiny day today. And when the man does it, he takes, about 100 steps for every foot. And he stutters to say, it'll be a sunny day today. Then he gets an IV of 3 grams, 3,000 milligrams of glutathione. And 30 minutes later, you see him walk that same hallway with the Dr. Perlmutter, and he walks like a normal man with the actual smooth stride. And then he says, please say it's a sunshiny day today. And he comes back, it's a sunshiny day today. So that's Dr. David Perlmutter, Parkinson's, and glutathione. And you'll see that there. It's just awesome to watch what these nutraceutical, wonderful nutrients can do. Hopefully that'll be a help to you, Sarah. Or we have these doctors here, and we are finding ways to help make affordable some of these protocols. So please contact and see new patients with Dr. Amber or Dr. Kaur or Dr. Merrick or Dr. Gonzalez and so forth, as I'm not taking new patients, but we're doing a lot of teaching and training. All right, say hello to everyone. Give them my love and God's blessing. Thank you. Ella Biosa says, what enzymes do you recommend that are affordable for seniors to add to their supplement list? My mother needs them. I have purchased before the VitalZyme, but at $160, it was not sustainably possible monthly. Yeah, so that's why I worked with Orthomolecular to create systemic enzymes, or what is known as Vascuzyme, but you can't buy from Orthomolecular unless you're a physician like me. So I created the off-label list called Systemic Enzymes. It's a third of the price. It's very affordable. And I hope that's a blessing to you and to your family, your mother, and that helps her. Take it on an empty stomach. Yeah, and so she says, what are other comparable alternatives? Well, there's all kinds of marketing things out there, but have they been clinically tested to really work? I can tell you Systemic Enzymes, Vascuzyme, have worked here. And they have the serrapeptase in them, that critical thing that helps remove spike protein, disinflame it, and chew it up, so to say. And then Jackie says, hi there, what do you think of those whole body MRI scans as a screening tool? I don't like them at all. I don't like any of these little units that go out into the community in a trailer and they do leg ultrasounds and they do blood pressures and they do screening of various things. The reason why I don't like them is I find it a general marketing scam to get you to come to certain places or centers that will do further imaging. They seem to always find something of questionable source that causes you to become frightened. You have to go in, you have to see a doctor, you have to get more imaging, make the beast of medicine stronger and more financially consumption wise. It's $1 trillion business rather than sending out units or mobile units that tell you to be responsible for yourself, drink your water, exercise, don't eat late, be low carb, no processed boxed foods, make your own food, and to take certain items that our food systems are horrific, like I think we all need vitamin D3 with K2. I think we all need some form of increased enzyme, systemic and digestive. I think we all need a good multi-mineral and probably a very good antioxidant, which I think the Juice Plus series is worth the money. Plus, you can get a child on it free for 4 years. So, Jackie, I don't like, I myself take responsibility for myself. And I don't do mammograms. I don't do bone densities. I don't do colonoscopies. And that is because I don't think I could live much cleaner at all than I am already today. Doing aerobic, brisk walking, doing my heavyweight training 2 or 3 times every week for years and years, drinking enough water, not drinking alcohol, keeping a rich protein diet in, getting a good night's sleep, using natural hormones, taking those nutrients I've listed and a few more, doing chelation therapy and high dose vitamin C. If that's not enough, then I am so ready to go see my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ when He calls me home. And I will have lived a life in His service, hopefully, because His creation of people, the human being made in the image of God, is the most one of the highest privileges a doctor can ever see their self doing is trying to care for God's creation here and restore them back to the peace and the humbleness of heart of letting Him be in control and reading His instruction book, the Bible. Uh, Basic instructions before leaving Earth, Bible, Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. And so I would say that's the best antidepressant. That's the best energy pill. That's the best sleep aid there is to read your Bible every single day. And so, no, don't go out for MRIs and things like that, folks. Now, if you have a specific problem or a continuous symptom that's bothering you, see a doctor and get an MRI if you need it. If you're concerned about your lifestyle, how it's been, then do your mammogram, which is recommended in California to be done annually. Do your digital rectal prostate exam, men, so you can get your prostate checked out with a PSA with your urologist by age 50. Get your colonoscopy baseline age 45. Get your bone density at around 40, 45, so you have a reference point. So I did all these things um, uh, as a one-time thing, and they were all perfect and normal. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I am going to just stay busy, happy, and love serving my wonderful God and Savior and His beautiful, wonderful creation. And I see people like Tiziana. She goes all over the earth, and she has all these stories, and it's like I get to take a vacation and travel with her. I have other patients who go on a cruise and they tell me about it, and I feel like I went on a little cruise. So you people are the most exciting, movies. You are the most exciting uh, creation. It's just a privilege to take care of you and work for your best. So, with all that drivel, it's 7 p.m. I have my workout to do. Pray for Tustin Longevity Center. If this is a help to you, like and subscribe, and please share it with a friend. And God bless you until next Tuesday night at 6 p.m. God bless. Take care.